Yeah, bum bum bum. Lap down pod. There we go. That's the intro. I'm excited because we're racing this weekend. Can you tell? Hi, it's me. I'm Alex, and next voice is Dan. This is a podcast about Formula One, and we're racing, and I'm buzzing. Hello.
That was so good. If that doesn't get your ultra softs up to super hard very quickly, I mean, nothing will it? Nothing will. We've got Formula One motor racing back. We've got our resident Australian correspondent on the podcast. How does it feel? Home Grand Prix. If this was a Formula One video game, this would be very important to you.
Yes, very. And I don't mind, actually, Albert Park in the video game. So to use our long-standing metric of whether or not we like a circuit, is it good to drive in the game? Yeah. I think it is. I think it's a good circuit. Hey,
this is your long-standing metric, by the way.
Well, look, what's mine's yours? Shared pod. We're not going down the Stewie McGill route on this pod. We're not going to yell at each other on this one. We're
not yet.
No, you never know. Maybe when we get to the this is a teaser. Maybe when we get to the new Lapdown World Championship later on, things might get a little bit spicy. Who knows? Yeah. Cliffhangers and stuff. See, we do media. We've got it. We've got there. We almost didn't get there because everyone's now bombing each other. But
yes,
the teams did get there. I saw that Formula One has lifted the curfew so that they can actually try and catch up. Which, could you just imagine being a Formula One engineer that got, either stuck midway because they closed the airspace or whatever? You fly the best part of probably about 26 hours, if not longer, because they have to go the long way around now. You get to Melbourne and the boss goes, "Great news. They changed the rules. You can work all night." Fuck yeah. It's like, I just wanted a frozen Coke, a box of shapes and a lie down. And now I'm working on a car at all hours of the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. When the email pops up on your phone, it's like FAO all. And you think, Zach, I've just flown via Tanzania to get here.
Yeah. In economy.
They've never seen a Formula One car before in Tanzania. Had to get it through customs, mate. And now you want me to go and pull a 36-hour shift. Actually, does Tanzania now go to the closest African Grand Prix that we've had since Kyalami last appeared on a calendar? It must do, mustn't it?
This is not prior knowledge that I possess, unfortunately. You are well outside of the realms of my understanding.
Okay, well, in your Formula One history, there hasn't been a Grand Prix on the continent of Africa, right? So, therefore, I suspect this is the closest we've been since Kyalami, which is in South Africa, which I believe was the last Grand Prix to be held on the continent of Africa. I tell you, it gets a lot more boring when you have to go and explain these things, doesn't it?
Look, this is why we've got our biggest fan on social, because she comments on every video about how much she hates us and the podcast. It's just wonderful engagement. And on one of those comments, she said, "Why are you talking about the colours? Don't talk about the paint. We've seen the liveries now. It's testing." It's like, no, you misunderstand. If we don't have the paint, we have nothing. That's our level of technical chat here. And even going into circuit history there, that extends both of us, and that's not even me dragging you down to my level. That's just the Lapdown podcast operating within its safe space, and our safe space is colours, which we've got some of actually a little bit later on, which is quite exciting. Should we do some admin bits first, because we have a formal press release to read, which is rare for us and exciting. But before that, I'll say hello everybody. Please come and connect with us on other platforms. Send us an email to teamradio@lapdownpod.com. You can send us a voice note. You can send us thoughts. You can send us whatever you'd like to send us, and you might make it onto the podcast. And you can connect with us as well on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok @lapdownpod. Please do that. And if you've enjoyed it, whatever, hit like and subscribe and review it and all that kind of stuff, because it does make a surprising amount of difference. So we've got all that admin out the way. We have got a bit of Team Radio to come in, and it's actually from one of our official partners of the Lapdown podcast, of which there are, I believe, 3 currently, which may grow throughout the year. But let's check in on a little bit of Team Radio, shall we?
Yes. Official press release to celebrate the official Bubbly Energy partnership with Dan 2. Open letter to the masses. Everyone associated with Dan 2 welcomes the news that we will be the official Bubbly Energy partner of the Lapdown podcast for the 2026 season. As an entity, Dan 2 has always aspired to be affiliated with a credible, verifiable, and enigmatic, I tell you, words are hard, aren't they, partner as LDP. We hope to be able to give the wings to this aircraft that is the Lapdown Pod as it soars through the skies for the 2026 F1 season. Now, what we've learned a few times already in this 5-minute podcast is the fact that those wings soaring through skies are going to have to take slightly detoured routes because there's some people throwing things at each other over in the Middle East, which just means that, yeah, it's going to slow down. But it's wonderful to have Dan 2 on board as the official bubbly partner of the Lapdown podcast. There you go. There's a lovely handshake from our Australian correspondent. And yeah, we've got 3 official partners now. We've got an official thinking partner. We've got an official jingly noises partner as well. So if you want to be part of the crew, or part of the, but we don't give them away. Ooh. You've got to work hard for these, but you can reach out to us at teamradio@lapdownpod.com. I got it right this week. We're going to have a great episode, but you can get in contact with us if you'd like, and you can share your questions, thoughts, comments, theories, opinions, conspiracies, whatever you'd like to do. Or you could just tell us both that we're really shit at Formula One podcast and we don't know what we're talking about.
I would love actually some conspiracy theories because I don't mind putting a tinfoil hat on at times on this podcast. So if you've got a tinfoil conspiracy about F1, and I also don't want like actual Illuminati bullshit. I don't want anything legitimate, right? I want your bullshit, absolute low stakes conspiracies about Formula One is what I would love people to send in. And I will, we can make that a thing through the year. If anyone at any point has a low stakes conspiracy they want to share, send it in and I will bring some of those to the pod all year.
There sounds like a partnership.
Well, it depends. Because you can't I can't partner multiple. You can't have multiple people as a partner. So unless a company wants to get on board, which we are very open to be the official low stakes conspiracy partner of the podcast, I'll brand the shit out of it. I don't care. I will sell out, sir. I am not above that. Where should we go first? Should we should we talk a little bit about Drive to Survive? Because I know you've not watched it, and I've watched 2 episodes, and it's as average as ever. It's fine. It's lovely shit telly just to pop on in the background. On the latest season of Drive to Survive, we got to go into Flavio Briatore's home, and I'll give you a hot tip. It looked exactly like what I expected Briatore's home to look like. That place was just an absolute wank palace. Like, it was ghastly. There's a giant plastic shiny gold bear by the front door. And then there was what I think was a giraffe that was shiny gold plastic, but it was also a lamp over the giraffe's head. And then there's multiple paintings of him in his own house, which is incredibly masturbatory. And I didn't like him before. I hate him even more now. Fuck that bear thing off. Get in the bin. Just, what's wrong with IKEA? Go to IKEA, get yourself a Flurgenberg.
Did you say masturbatory on purpose there?
Yes.
Flavio Masturbatory Briatore.
Oh, no, I didn't actually, but that's tremendous.
Yeah, it's not bad from you, is it? I mean, you didn't realise you'd scored, but it was a hell of a goal. A screamer, some might say.
Oui.
I'm not shocked. I haven't seen it, and I'm probably not going to go and watch DTS so I can go and see inside Flavio's house. I can probably picture what it is. Strikes me as the type of bloke who doesn't go, as you say, to IKEA and probably has things like Prada pencil sharpeners and stuff like that kind of character, that he's got too much money that he really knows what to do with and therefore buys. Just wild things. Some of those like supreme, ridiculous things that nobody actually needs, but it's not going to be Supreme. It's going to be like Louis Vuitton versions of like cucumber slices or something silly like that. But no, good for him. I did see something about that Will Buxton chap though.
Oh, yeah.
And this feels wrong because he claimed that he doesn't deliberately make himself sound like a moron on DTS. It's kind of naturally in a way that he tries to make sure that he just doesn't get in trouble with what he says. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that somebody who claims to be a professional broadcaster on international sports doesn't make a conscious decision to give you the absolute bare minimum when it comes to any form of punditry. I just don't believe it. Cannot, won't, and do not believe it.
See, I will give a slightly contrary potential take on it. Nobody knows. It could be wonderful PR business from him to try and backtrack.
Yes.
I actually quite like Will Buxton. I think he's a very
hate him.
engaging presenter. You can just tell the bloke loves motorsport, of all forms, and really gets into it. I wonder if he is almost too good. This is getting, I admit, into a bit of is he a secret genius territory. But it feels to me possibly he's a very good media personality, a very good TV presenter. If he was told in season 1, hey, what? And he said, what's this show? And they went, oh, so it's about Formula One. We're trying to engage with some new fans, people that don't really know or watch Formula One. So it's going to be a little bit sort of ELI 5 Formula One. I can see him being smart enough to think, okay, so I will give this the absolute. I am talking to a child that their first time getting into Formula One. And then, because I saw this same thing that he claims he's not given scripts and talking points or anything like that, and he just sort of makes up and goes along. I think he's potentially season 1 gone too far and gone a little bit, explained like I'm 3 or 4, saw the reaction to it. It helps get his face out there. And I think it gets his face out there in a relatively positive way. I don't think anyone actually thinks worse of Will Buxton because of it. It's just become a little bit of a fun meme. So I think he now plays into it very deliberately. I think he's smart enough to have noticed that he's got a character he can play now. And I think we get Drive to Survive. Will Buxton is a character. But it's like Joe Wilkinson. It's the Joe Wilkinson of Formula One. Incredibly smart behind the scenes, playing a character of a little bit of a lovable fool. He also could just be a fucking idiot. There's that as well. There's also that element.
Could be that. Have you seen... Are you aware of what MotoGP is?
I am familiar with the GP.
Wonderful. For those of you that aren't, I'll explain this in a Will Buxton way. It's basically Formula One, but on 2 wheels.
Ooh.
There you go. That's all I'm giving you.
But how do they steer?
Anyway, they did their opening race the other weekend, and I would assume it was in Thailand. I can't exactly say for certain, but I think it was. And they did a tuk-tuk race.
Okay.
All of the riders, pilots, I guess, pilots.
Never liked that, by the way. Sorry to interrupt. I've never liked that we call F1 drivers pilots. I don't like that at all. I don't know who started it, why it happens, but please stop.
No, until we get proof that you can drive upside down on a tunnel. Not interested. Anyway, they all started racing tuk-tuks, but it wasn't a display kind of thing. As you can imagine, when they give the keys to tuk-tuks to, say, 22 children, things transpired, and things that involve corner cutting and jumping over escape roads and over rumble strips and through gravel traps and all kinds of mayhem ensued. And I would like to propose that at each Formula One weekend, we have a location-themed novelty exhibition race before the weekend starts.
Mm-hmm. I'm on board entirely. I mean, we saw how good the Lego race was, and I've not seen a single, even from the grumpy old bastards that hate everything new about Formula One, and if it's not the 70s and they're smoking in the car, it's a waste of time. Even all them liked it, I think. I don't think I saw a single person that saw that Lego Formula One race and had anything but just absolute glowing love and praise for it. And I think part of why that is, if I'm now going to go all sort of boring and media head on it, it's really nice just to humanize those drivers every now and then. I think the interviews that we see from them are always so PR trained because they have to be, because otherwise they get in trouble. They're all pointless. Every Formula One interview is a complete waste of time from like mainstream media outlets. When you get them on podcasts and stuff, they sometimes relax a little bit more, and you get the odd snippet. But there was no media training in that Lego race, and I'm sure there was no media training in the MotoGP tuk-tuk race either. That, as you say, giant adult children that can control any vehicle really well, and so you put them in that situation, they go for it. Yeah, all for it. Even not every week, because I want them to be good. So, like, I would like FOM to sit down at the start of the year and identify races that would have an obvious thing we can do. So we're not dragging it, like give me, I don't need them, riding inflatable kangaroos in Australia just because we couldn't think of anything else. I want.
Have you got any suggestions?
Oh,
I've got one that I think would be hilarious and quite difficult to tidy up afterwards.
Oh dear. Okay. Yes.
I like the idea of London buses at Silverstone.
So
See, you've heard that straight away, and your initial reaction is joy and fun.
my initial reaction is, how do we get 11 double-decker buses onto the start-finish straight, and then what do we do with them afterwards? But yeah, hey, not against it. Not against it.
Works.
Yes, it does work. Circuit of the Americas, you know, like the Wienermobile, like the giant hot dog car. I would like 11 Wienermobiles for
nice.
COTA, please. I think
that works.
Yeah,
that works. And what about Italy? What about Monza?
Now, we did get in trouble previously for downplaying the Italians to mere stereotypes because we said that they like pizza and pasta, which there's obviously absolutely no proof of that the Italians eat pizza and pasta in larger quantities than the rest of the world. Sorry, carry on.
Well, maybe I should stop.
You're gonna get us cancelled here because you're gonna make an incredible statement that the Italians like perhaps something pasta related.
No, I was going to say ice cream, actually, or gelato.
Okay. Gelato.
You know, like the little gelato bikes?
Yeah.
With the big fridges on the front?
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, imagine a full 5-mile lap of Monza, watching those guys kind of cycle their way around, delivering magnums and twisters and fabs and things.
Wasn't there... This might have been old school Top Gear. I feel like there were... Or it might have been a recent YouTube challenge. It might have been both. I can't remember. I swear I remember seeing a race that was like part motor race, but then they had to keep stopping at stations to complete something entirely like mundane. So it would be like, you know, complete the first sector at Imola, and then you need to stop and you need to roll out this pasta and like turn this into fettuccine, and then you can keep going again. I'll be on board for that as well. We're just turning F1 into, you know, an episode of Art Attack, but I'm all for it. This would be good.
Well, I think now that FOM are very much at the helm of this, it feels like we either need to get on board with the commercialization and the novelty nature of sport now, or sorry, the entertainment,
yes.
and we just buy into it, and therefore this podcast becomes an ideas factory for FOM,
yes.
for Liberty Media, from Suleiman, if he's
yes.
still in charge. I don't think he's lost his job yet.
No, because he, far be it from me to suggest that the elections were perhaps ever so slightly rigged, but because he picked someone first to be on his team, the other person wasn't allowed to run anymore, so he ran unopposed. Because
That's quite clever, actually.
You have to have a delegate. I don't try and speak like I actually know what I'm talking about here, but you have to have like a delegate from each continent, basically, nominate you and be in your corner. But there's only one African delegate. So as soon as the African delegate, he'd be like, hey, you're going to vote for me, right? He went, yeah. No one else is allowed to run anymore, which feels like a terrible system that they probably need to get rid of. While we're in the ideas factory, how about we just have elections based on merit rather than...
It's quite sensible, though.
Yeah, it's too sensible.
Anyway, what's next?
Well, we've got... I suppose before we actually talk about what we think might happen this weekend... We need to be ever so slightly thankful we are going to have a this weekend, by all accounts. It does seem like it's going to happen. Yes. I'm not sure we're going to be having a this weekend for a couple of the upcoming races if things stay as they are. So I'll ask this question. If we lose Bahrain and Saudi from the calendar for whatever reason, what circuits would you like to see replace them at short notice, assuming that any of them can just spin themselves up, brush the track off and be ready?
Okay, right. Well, that does caveat things slightly because I think there's so few that actually hold the correct license to be able to go and do this. So I have seen rumours the fact that Imola and Portimao would be the obvious choices.
Are they like the official backups? Are they like 12th man of the tracks, I think?
I think they might be, yeah. I mean, Imola's probably going to be under like 4 foot of snow or flooded in
trees, and
because that's going to be like April time, isn't it, if that runs around?
We are at heavy risk of a summer break in like the end of winter if we're talking Europe.
And Portimao's coming back on the calendar, I think, in the next year, if my memory serves me right. So those two seem obvious. Do you know, if I could pick one place for them to go back to, it'd be Malaysia, and that probably predates you.
It does.
But that was a phenomenal motor circuit with some amazing racing and some incredible corners. and conditions as well, because you would have those kind of massive tropical cyclone style rainstorms that come in and just flooded the place, and just wiped off all of like the good rubbery bits and made it all green again. And it was wonderful. And I'd quite like it to go there. I did also see Karun Chanduk drive around the India circuit the other day too. So again, I don't think either of them hold the correct licenses in order to go and do these things. But if it means not flying back over or back into the Middle East, which, as we've said earlier, there are some shouty people throwing things at one another at the moment from a distance, feels like those two in that area of the world could be great. Maybe Bathurst. Bathurst could be fun. Back to Australia.
Some of them might. I think there's some quite steep, hilly bits with some crests at Bathurst that I think the V8 supercars get a little bit airborne, which I do worry about slightly with pilots at the wheel of these cars. Would you be on board with a double header at the same circuit, but you do something a little bit like what we had during COVID, where I think we did two Grand Prix at Austria, didn't we? But they changed.
Yeah.
There was a tweak to the layout that basically meant the strategy from last weekend can't be used this weekend type thing.
Yeah.
Would you be on board with that? That they just went, actually, you know what? Fuck it. We'll stay here for another week. But next time, if you do it at Barcelona or whatever, and I know we all hate the chicane bit, but do it at Barcelona and put the old last corner chicane back in so that it sort of changes the dynamics a little bit.
Potentially. I mean, Bahrain would be the perfect place to do that, wouldn't it? Because it's got 19 layouts. But I've got an idea.
Oh,
you've played video games.
I've done video gaming.
You know Suzuka. You know you can do shorter versions of Suzuka. So we're already going to Japan, so it makes sense that potentially we stay there. What if, instead of doing the entire circuit twice, we did the full circuit, which is great but gets quite boring because nobody can overtake. And then what we do for the second weekend is we just do the first bit. So you go down the start-finish straight, round turn 1 and 2, up the wiggly bit, and then back round the start-finish straight. So we end up with about 187-lap Suzuka Grand Prix Mark II of just the short bit at the start.
It's like that one Mario Kart circuit that's basically just a tiny oval that I think you do like 9 laps of that one and every other one is 3. I'm on board with it. Or, again, to use the video game theory, F125, there are, I think, 4 or 5 tracks that you can do in reverse, and you can do the reverse layout. So we could do Silverstone, British Grand Prix one weekend, and then we can do the Milton Keynes Grand Prix the next weekend, and it's just Silverstone, but in reverse. Thoughts?
Yeah, don't mind it.
I think it would be incredibly unsafe because I don't think any of the soft bits are in the right place if you go the other way. So I don't think that quite works in that sense, but just ask them to keep it on track. They'll be fine.
See, that's not where my first thought went. My first thought was I didn't know if Milton Keynes had enough gravitational pull to warrant a full naming rights for a Grand Prix.
They've got a Costco and an IKEA.
Yeah, I suppose Madrid have probably got those. So
yeah,
fine. Screw it.
Lock
Milton
it in.
Keynes Grand Prix. Done.
Lock it in. Right. Aston Martin aren't making it this weekend. To get into the hard-hitting news section of the podcast. Fuck me, it's all going to shit at Aston Martin, isn't it? That's not good for anyone. And Fernando Alonso on the radio, if he gets told to complete the formation lap and then just pull into the pits because we're retiring, please play that unedited.
Still get paid the same?
I assume so. Yeah, lovely.
Because we've had this debate before, haven't we, with Formula One, and kind of thinking about, is it really worth the stress of being a title contender? Or in reality, if you are just going to potter around at the back and you're going to get paid £5 million for the weekend, why not just do it? What is going wrong with it, though? I mean, I saw, again, I don't particularly enjoy referencing other social media pages, and I can't really reference it because I don't know who it was or what they were or why they were talking about it. But they were saying about Aston Martin felt like they were kind of getting the Real Madrid Galacticos together, which I kind of started to think was a good reference. But then when I thought about it more so is that when Real Madrid got their Galacticos together, because Galacticos was plural, they ended up with more than one of these great kind of people kicking around in this football team. Whereas it feels like Aston Martin have just chucked all their eggs in one basket of Adrian Newey. They've gone and got an absolute basket case of an engine provider that can't seem to do anything right in the history of or not since the 90s in Formula One, to be fair. They're kicking around with the owner's son, in the second seat of the car. And I don't remember Florentino Perez, the chairman of Real Madrid at the time, having his son in goal for the sake of it. And they've got a bloke who was, albeit a double world champion, but 20 years ago now, in their kind of number one seat, and they've given Adrian Newey every job title that they could possibly think of at the Aston Martin headquarters. It's just shit, isn't it? Like, what has gone so wrong with them?
Well, if we're to believe the information that we get fed, what's gone wrong is entirely within the confines of that power unit. And it's Honda that's struggling to the point that any Adrian Newey can see aerodynamic wizardry. We don't know yet. So obviously we put out, and people seem to miss, as they often do on social, we put out that quite tongue-in-cheek video a couple of weeks back about, that Aston Martin turned up to testing with some very different shapes and bits on it from an aero perspective than any other team. And we have had a couple of comments come in recently being like, oh, this aged like milk. It's like, well, it's in the fridge still, technically, because we don't know yet. Because that car's not actually reached sixth gear to the point that the aeros started doing anything. They can't get the engine to last a whole lap before it goes kaput at the minute. So I will continue to stand by somewhat my claim that may well be, and I think Newey has a bit of a history of this. It might not start the fastest car, but it will fucking end it. But it's just, it was very all in one, I think, is potentially where they might have tripped up here. You've gone a new engine supplier that hasn't really sort of fully made their own engines for a little while, on an engine regs change, on an aero package change, with a new wind tunnel that you don't know is correlated yet, and you still have Lance Stroll. That's a lot of multipliers of potential concern that I think have all, multiplied a bad start and gone worse and worse.
A Honda only supplying engines for Aston Martin. So that makes everything even more complicated, doesn't it? Because they've got two drivers to go and do every single piece of testing and knowledge gathering that the Honda factory needs to make this thing better. Whereas Ferrari, Mercedes, that's mostly it now, isn't it?
Red Bull, Red Bull doing the right with two teams, I suppose, still. But
with a bit of Ford, isn't there, going on there?
Yeah.
They've essentially kind of got other people doing other things to help gather that knowledge. So it feels like it suddenly working out how a Formula One engine works doesn't feel that easy and obvious of a solution to stumble across. It's not like you can go and take photos of the back of another team's Formula One car and work out how the engine works. It doesn't look great.
No.
It doesn't look great. And when the reports are that they will take part in testing in order to gather that data and then do the formation lap and then park it at the end of the formation lap, not great.
No.
Not great, Honda.
No, and I don't know, and this is potentially slightly libelous of a consideration, but what incentive is there for Honda to push, apart from obviously brand reputation and recognition? If you're Mercedes and you're working on those engines and you've got at least 2, if not 3 customer teams that are buying engines off you, that's a revenue source. Apart from anything else, you're making money from that, and you could make more money because more teams might want your engine if you continue to go well. Honda are only supplying Aston Martin. I can't imagine anyone at this point is thinking about jumping from a Mercedes engine or a Ferrari power unit to a Honda one. How many extra resources are Honda going to be interested in dragging into fixing this problem when we're up against it, rather than, hey, this is something that could be quite lucrative here? It's a shame that I guess any chat about F1 has to kind of come back to money, but I do look at it and I think, well, what's the ROI on it? It's a little bit like paying club cricketers. Like, okay, you're spending a load of money on it, but no one's really impressed and you're not going to make that money back. So
no,
it's just, it doesn't feel good, does it? It doesn't feel good.
No. I realise it's not necessarily the case, but I think the others do. But do Honda even sell any kind of vehicle around the world that is a bit exciting, if that makes sense?
Because the Jazz?
they say, don't they? well, that kind of backs my point up. But they kind of say that all of this technology that's learnt in a Formula One factory is then installed into road cars later down the line.
Yeah.
But I don't even know. The only thing that springs out to me is that Honda NSX, and I don't necessarily know if that's even in production now, or whether it's kind of come in and out. Or like, can you even buy one now? I genuinely don't know. But as you've just, the second generation ended its production in 2022, so no, according to Google.
No.
And I can't believe. Yeah, do they make anything other than a Jazz? Do they still make a Civic?
Yeah,
doesn't feel like a Civic with a V6 Formula One engine's going to be that great.
No, no. Or the Formula One engine in the Formula One car is going to be that great either.
All that. Yeah, maybe they should try the Jazz engine.
Ooh, now
just putting it out there.
Yeah, we
wouldn't do any aero.
We wouldn't do any lift and coast. You getting around on your fuel. That'd be fine. Yeah. I think we've cracked it.
Ideas podcast.
We are an ideas podcast. Should we talk about the drivers' helmets?
Yes, I'd love to talk about helmets.
We've seen all of their helmets now, and I've actually got a picture of all of their helmets together, which is a bit exciting. This is us very much in our niche now. I'm going to say it's a very underwhelming grid of helmets.
Ooh.
Bar a few notable shout-outs that I've got. They also all look, again, with some outliers, very similar. A lot of there's this real meta of you've got to have some sort of horizontally liney panely bits, which I can tell you is for sponsorship reasons. But
yes,
there aren't that many of them that have gone with a completely custom design. They've all kind of gone off the shelf and then gone into the color picker and just chosen which bits they want to be which color, haven't they?
Yeah. There's a lot of day glow going on as well, which seems a popular choice. Obviously, Lando, I think, gets a free pass on that because the whole helmet is day glow.
Yeah.
But when you look at the likes of Piastri, Antonelli, Hadjar, Lindblad, Behrman, Perez, Colapinto, to a lesser extent, Bortoletto, they all look like they've gone down their local kind of rental karting place. They've had a bit of pocket money. They've realised that they don't want to go and put their head in somebody else's sweaty helmet that's just completed their race, and they've gone to the display cabinet of three helmets that you can buy, and they've all just bought them from there. That I think is what's happened with those helmets.
Yeah.
Are there any that stand out for you as ones that you go, God, do you know what? Yeah, I'll pay that.
Yeah, to be honest, I have actually always liked Lando Norris's helmet for the reason that I don't like those other ones that just, like you said there, just look like the stock options. Like, that's a unique helmet that's in your branding. It's very recognizable. Well done. I think Pierre Gasly's helmet is stunning. I would like to look a lot more at Pierre Gasly's helmet, please, because that looks like a special edition helmet in that it's quite unique. The light blue lines and the color, lovely. Design, lovely. The Protolpa helmet, Bottas, lovely helmet. Again, kind of feels like a special edition helmet. That feels like a Hungary sort of, it's designed after the pottery type helmet. Lovely. Alex Albon's is quite smart. It's kind of stormtroopery. Don't hate Sainz, don't hate Hulkenberg. Hamilton and Ocon, to be honest, most of them that aren't that template design, I'm kind of on board with.
Yeah. Can I give you? I don't know. I feel a bit dirty with what I'm about to say. So bear with me and feel free to edit this out or bleep it out depending on which way you want to go. But I quite like Lance Stroll's.
Right. Now that, it's just kind of a like blackout. There's a little bit of jazz on it, isn't there? Yeah. But it's a bit fast for Lance Stroll. It looks a bit quick.
Yeah. And I know, as I say, we don't normally give Lance flowers on the podcast. But
no, he can buy them himself.
Yeah, I quite like it. Do you know? Again, it's not something that I think he spent a great deal of time on. But I quite like it.
And it might just be because it wasn't on for the photos, but Lance Stroll's also the only person in the official Formula One helmet lineup that doesn't have that aero flap wing extension on the back of the helmet. Every other driver, the helmet doesn't actually roll down. It rolls out the back to try and move the air where they want to move the air, apart from Lance Stroll, who's just got a very normal motorbike helmet.
Has he thought about adding it? Because we might have just figured out why he's so slow.
He's put it on the front, look, it's on the chin. That's the problem.
Why don't we DM him?
I think, hi Lance, we couldn't help but notice your helmet's wrong. It's non-conforming. That's not okay.
We at the Lapdown podcast feel that you will improve from your guaranteed P17 each week to guaranteed points if you add the aero-y bit on the back of your helmet like all of your friends have.
What car's he driving then? He's going to be P17.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's not starting, is he?
He's in the tuk-tuk. Probably be quicker.
Yeah.
Right. Exciting announcement time. Because I think we're at the stage where we can introduce the new Lapdown World Championship for 2026. Unless there's anything else we need to box off in the meantime, but I think we've kind of...
There was one other thing. And again, it's a team that we don't give a great deal of flowers to.
Oh, yes.
But Alpine have announced and launched their partnership with the designer clothing brand of Primark.
Yeah.
And do you know, hear me out. For Formula One merch, it's completely fine.
Yes.
But the massive tick in the box is a T-shirt isn't £3,687.
Yeah.
Plus shipping.
When I saw, because there's been a whole lot of these new product announcement TikToks where they just wiggle the item in front of the camera and then show you another one. And I saw new F1 and Primark partnership. And I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be like F1 logos and stuff. And then it was like, it's a team. And then I was like, oh, of course it's Alpine. Of any team that feels appropriate to be partnered with Primark, Alpine feels like the one. Yeah, it's inoffensive, isn't it? I hope it goes better than Briatore's Primark collection. Come and get your tings, Alpine.
Didn't know she had one.
Yeah, it didn't sell particularly well, I don't think.
Oh. I mean, I'd be surprised if this does, to be fair.
It's cheap enough, which I think is actually a very genuine point. That I think it is nice to see that. I know Hollister do a little bit of stuff with some of the teams, but it's more sort of artsy and graphic stuff. You occasionally see a little bit of H&M, like official license Formula One, like brand stuff, not team stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea. I clown on them for, of course, it's Alpine being at Primark or whatever, but it is actually a nice bit of business, I think. It's good to see. I feel like there's a lot of F1 retail merch this year. Like, I'm seeing, like, hey, here's everything F1 I found in B&M. It's like, what? Like, that's a new sentence. No one's ever done that before. It comes up, and then I swipe away from it.
Yeah, because I just assume the answer is going to be nothing.
Oh, no, there was Kit Kats.
Oh, Kit Kats. Probably Lego.
Yeah. Someone did an Asda Formula One haul. Oh, the full-size helmets?
No, not full-size.
Damn it.
Other sizes. No, I didn't. What did they get in Asda? They're getting probably similar bits, I would have thought. Doritos.
Lego Kit Kat Doritos, yeah. But
nice.
I just never thought I'd see TikToks of, here's my F1 haul from Asda. Like, that's a whole new thing.
Is crisps and biscuits, is that a haul?
If you buy enough of them, I would say.
Surely, like, I've been to an Asda, and they do other things, right? They will dabble in the likes of Legos, and they will dabble in the likes of cars and other things. And this isn't for me to kind of shame anybody in this world, but have they walked in, looked at the Speed Champions and gone, fuck, I'm not spending 23 quid on that, so I'm just not putting it in my basket? Like, Asda will be selling Lego Formula One stuff. So is it actually a full haul of everything I got in Asda that's Formula One related, or have they just swerved away from the stuff they don't want to buy?
I didn't pay enough attention to know. My level of interest went, is Lego biscuits again? And then that was quite enough.
I saw the I saw the F1 Kit Kats the other day.
Did you purchase?
No.
You didn't get a haul?
No.
No haul?
No.
Fine.
I don't know if I like Kit Kats enough.
Okay. Yep.
I think it's probably the sticking point there. And plus as well, I kind of thought to myself, like the here's everything I got at the service station on the A303 Formula One Hall Edition and walk out with a Kit Kat probably wasn't that interesting.
No. Also, can I just say to the Kit Kat F1 people, why is it not a chunky? Give me a big fuck-off Kit Kat chunky F1 car. That's better.
Have you had one?
No.
No.
Don't like Kit Kats. Oh, that's this podcast summed up.
I can report on the Doritos.
Yeah. They taste like Doritos?
They're just triangle crisps.
Yeah. So they're not even shaped like a wheel gun or something?
No.
Not shaped like Interlagos?
No. Back to the Alpine things. I quite like the sweatshirt. That's all right.
Yeah. Get yourself down there, mate. Get a haul. Future episode. This is your reason, by the way, to go and seek out, because we put these out in video. If you're just listening to these in the car, you can actually see our faces through all this. And at some point in the next couple of weeks, Dan's going to be in an Alpine sweatshirt in one of these. It's going to be magical.
Imagine the scenes. Imagine the views we get when I turn up. When I turn up in a sweatshirt and you turn up in a BWT Alpine Formula One team mesh t-shirt.
Oh yeah, see my nips.
A bit of nipple going on.
Yeah, them on the internet. Right. To update from last week, we asked, would people be interested in doing an F1 fantasy league? And we had some interest, but, going to be honest, we can't fully be bothered doing the whole fantasy element. So we have once again created our own fantasy setup, which there's going to need to be a little bit of rules-based discussion, which thankfully we don't need for round one, because it's more about the fact that our plan involves 22 of something when there are currently 24 of something. The best thing that could happen for us is that we do actually lose Bahrain and Saudi. That solves so many problems. But the new, actually, Dan, this is your baby. So I'll get you to introduce the basic concept of the 2026 Lap Down World Championship.
I'd love to. Well, after great success from the 2025 random ChatGPT and occasionally other spin wheel world championship, I thought there was an opportunity to make this new and improved. And what I thought we could do this time is do a bit of an eliminator world championship. So the fun is, and the tactic is, that you're only allowed to use one of the drivers once during the course of the year. Now, the 22 and the 24, clearly that doesn't work out. So we need to figure something out about that. And we think there could be a little bit of ChatGPT kind of joke arounds coming in where you're able to then use some drivers that you would have already previously used in order to fulfill the full obligation, unless you want to be an Aston Martin and not actually complete the first race of the Grand Prix. Well, anyway, moving on. So that's one of what we thought. You can use a driver once through the course of it, 2 joke arounds, and the points will be done as follows: 22 to 1, depending on where your driver finishes across the course of the Grand Prix. Because if we just do it on World Championship points, half, if not more, of the grid is going to be absolutely fucking useless. We're going to get 0 points for a dunf. We're going to get 3 points for a bit of driver of the day whimsical banter, because quite often that just is utter voted bullshit that nobody really understands. 3 points if your driver finishes 1 lap down, and for multiplications depending on how many laps down your driver finishes, you get 3 points per lap. And because we're a sensible, credible, and enigmatic podcast, as verified by our bubbly energy partner at the start of the podcast, 3 points if your driver qualifies on pole.
Nice to reward Lando with some points, even if he's not going to get the full 22, isn't it? So, the simple answer of that is, what we need from you at home every week is to send us in to teamradio, lapdownpod.com, or slide a DM or something, get it over to us, who your nominated driver is for that weekend. You can only use every driver once. We're only picking one driver per weekend, and they are your point scorer. And then we'll get to the end of the year and we'll see who was better at using their resources. This is no longer a game of chance or luck. This is now entirely a game of skills, like blackjack. That's entirely in my hands. And if you have any ideas for the best way for us to make 24 go into 22, please send them in. Because we've got a couple of different options about how it could potentially work, but there's no real obvious, that's by far the best option, make that happen. So we've got a couple of weeks to play with here, and we should know, I think, within the next couple of weeks, because we would go to Bahrain round,
I think it's 4, isn't it?
And then Saudi is reasonably quickly 5, after that, isn't it? So We might know within the next couple of weeks whether there's already going to be an early summer break anyway. But yeah, if you've got any thoughts on that, send them in. But more importantly, Dan, we need to make our first picks here, which we need to get going for the year to finish things off in our preview of Melbourne, which I'm going to be honest, we haven't actually really spoken about the Australian Grand Prix for 2026 because I think it's going to be an absolute clusterfuck. It's almost not worth trying to predict or preview anything because we know so little. The drivers know so little about their own cars and how a race is going to work with the energy deployment and all of that we don't know enough to actually say anything, I don't think, which is not unusual for this podcast. But I'd like to hear who you're picking, please, and a little bit of how you got to that choice.
Okay, nice. I like that. Good introduction. See, because of all of those things that you've just kind of read out there, it's hard to convince myself that I want to eat all of my best sweeties now. Because I feel like I need to figure out how good the best sweeties are before I start kind of devouring those best sweeties. So I can kind of say that Aston Martin are not worth looking at this time around.
I would agree.
Based on what we've kind of... So that makes our choice a little bit easier. So I'm aiming middle ground. I'm aiming middle ground. I'm aiming for a driver that could end up in a top kind of 6, 7, 8 position because, as you say, it could be a little bit of a clusterfuck. There's been occasional bits of weather in Melbourne over the last couple of years as well, which potentially just muddles it up. And it's a driver that, with all due respect, if I get nothing, I'm kind of okay with it because I think there'll be other weekends where he'll get nothing. So I'm going to go for Ollie Behrman.
Okay. Yeah. A little bit of Oliver business. By the way, sorry, on the topic of Ollie, his official driver photo for this year is a stinker. I don't know what it is about F1. Whoever takes their official portraits and their official headshots does a terrible job of it every year because the lighting's woeful. They've been cut out really badly, and some of the poses and facial expressions are ghastly, including Ollie Behrman's. It's not good. Seek it out afterwards. It's just he looks scared and confused, which is not what he's supposed to look like. I had basically exactly the same thought process that you don't want to spend a strong driver this week because their car could quite easily fall apart. First of all, we have no reliability knowledge. And then there's a great chance of a late safety car or something, or 8 safety cars over the course of the race, 4 red flags, whatever. Could be all over the place. So I was going middle ground as well. But I thought, you've kind of gone the other way. You've gone youthful exuberance. You've thought, Ollie Behrman's up and about. He's proven he should be there, quick driver. I'm thinking, who's best equipped, apart from Fernando Alonso, to ride the waves of a new car? Who's got that experience behind him? Who is a podium sitter in Formula One? And it's Nico Hülkenberg. Because I just think the man's just got the experience behind him. It's the old stalwart that if there's one lower middle of the pack driver that you never know, might make a bold call on a tyre strat or something. They might do something funky, might bring it home. Nico Hülkenberg.
Yeah, I like that. And I think what's nice about that as well is if Audi don't and can't and aren't able to figure their shit out as well, you with respect, you've got rid of him early.
Yes.
You've not taken him long and deep into the game and thinking about throwing him in at the last minute to get you a huge haul of points. We're thinking bonus points, really, first round, or at least that's the way I'm looking at it. If I get anything from Melbourne, I'm going to be a very happy chap. And I think both drivers there have got kind of credible kind of top 10 finishes in them.
Yeah.
And I think as well, there's an opportunity to get a driver of the day type situation.
Qualify like P19, finish P10, you're a good chance of DOTD.
Exactly. Pole, probably not.
No.
And lap down, I don't know. I don't know how fashionable it is in Formula One to finish a lap down anymore, or whether they just save the car.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, I don't think.
No.
I think the only way it happens is maybe when we get to places like Austria, real short circuit, that's a good lap down chance, because you could be a lap down and not actually be like stupidly off the pace. That's when there could be some strategy come in there. I shouldn't have said this out loud. What am I doing? I'm exposing.
I'm taking notes.
I'm playing my team radio out over the fucking public air. That's not what we need.
Well, it's lucky because the animation doesn't work, so nobody heard it.
There we go. Perfect. Right, I think that's us ready for Melbourne. Which
Done.
Everybody
Ready.
that listened to this podcast thinking this would be a highly intelligent, organised, strategic preview of the Australian Grand Prix have heard us talk about men's helmets.
Yeah, didn't you say you'd like to see more of Pierre Gasly's?
A lot of, yes, please.
Yeah, okay, cool. Nice.
More and more
Well, I'm
of
glad
that.
we boxed that off. Nice.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to go to Primark.
Perfect.
You're going to see if Pierre Gasly's got an OnlyFans yet.
Yes.
And you, listening, need to pick your drivers for the first round of this magical mystery Formula One World Championship type thing. You can play along at home. We've given you how they're going to work. You can keep a note of it. You can let us know who you're going for, but you've got to let us know and tell us who you're picking for the first weekend.
Yes. Also, no pressure, but Garrett, as the official Jingly Noises partner of the podcast, if you've made it this far through this episode and you have heard this bit, and I will keep saying this every week at different points of the podcast until it happens, as the official Jingly Noises partner, we do kind of need a Sting opener jingle for the Lapdown World Championship. So, not to put the pressure on you as an official partner, I don't even know if you've heard the fact that you are an official partner yet. You are one, and we're already trying to cash in on that partnership. Dan, if they'd like to see you do things, where should they go and have a look?
At Dan Jadds on the internet, you can find some cricket-related things. We're getting towards the end of the World Cup, so I'm quite looking forward to that, to be honest with you. England will get their hands on the trophy for the third time, which would be hilarious. And, I'll tell you what, actually, there is a nice crossover, because Oscar Piastri likes cricket, doesn't he? And I like cricket, and I like Formula One, and Oscar likes Formula One. So, look, if you like Formula One, by the sounds of it, you're going to like cricket. It seems that sensible and logical. But yes, Alex, are you streaming things, and are they motor racing related?
I am streaming.
Actually, thinking about it, what I saw the other day that's right up your street.
Here we go.
Did you see City Skylines are launching like a motor racing pack edition thing?
Yes. And you could design your own circuits in it and do driver parades.
Very much like you to stream yourself building a Formula One circuit in your city. Please. Thank you.
Interesting. I haven't played City Skylines 1 in about 5 years because City Skylines 2 has been out for 3 years. So it's interesting that they released the DLC for the old game. But I did see that, though. Very nifty. Very nifty. I am playing games, though. It is not City Skylines. It's not Formula One related. It's mainly 2 Point Museum at the minute. You can come watch me build a museum if you'd like on twitch.tv/Hey Look It's Alex. And don't forget, teamradio at lapdownpod.com. Get your driver picks in. Any other thoughts or voice note that you want to send our way as well. It's time to go racing. It's a bit exciting.
Let's do it. It's been too long.
It has.
It's been too long.
It's been like 2 months, but too long.